This is the story of Hector the Cat Cup, written by Cynthia Chase in the summer of 2022 and illustrated and narrated by Becky Chase Fowler. She liked drinking tea from the cat cup. The cat resembled Groucho Marx and wore a white necktie with green stripes. Or was it a green tie with white stripes? She liked to consider this question at night before falling asleep. However, one day the cat began to speak, chiding her for wasting time dwelling on such trivial questions. "The questions life asks are serious," declared the cat. "And they deserve answers." She was horrified the first time she heard the cat talk. She immediately stopped drinking tea from the cup. She felt vaguely chastened by the cat's implied criticism. She put the teacup and the saucer in the curio cabinet and shut the door. The cat could not be silenced. It continued to repeat its assertion behind the closed door. It was the same sentence spoken over and over again, but the words were muffled. "The questions life asks are serious, and they deserve answers. The questions life asks are serious, and they deserve answers. The questions life asks are..." By the third day, she could stand it no longer. "Shut up!" she screamed. Perhaps that would make the cat fall silent. Indeed, it seemed effective. The cat looked startled and stopped speaking. 5 minutes passed. She was pleased. Yelling had worked. But then the cat started up again. "The questions life asks are serious," he began. He waited 5 minutes before adding, "And they deserve answers." He was smirking. Of that she had no doubt. She named him Hector. She knew she had made a tactical error when she'd screamed at him. She could never allow herself to scream at him again, and yet the constant repetitions were infuriating. Suddenly she noticed a ceramic teapot on the bottom shelf of the curio cabinet. It looked like a cozy, upholstered, powder blue armchair. A large brown and white beagle was curled up on the seat, fast asleep. Perhaps a warning growl from the dog would silence Hector. She opened the cabinet door. Hector, who sat on the top shelf, stopped mid-sentence, expecting to be freed from the cabinet. Instead, she removed the teapot from the bottom shelf and closed the door in his face. Hector was surprised. "Wait!" he called out. "Can we talk?" "That ship has sailed," she said, trying not to look too pleased with the snarkiness of her response. She prodded the teapot beagle. He rose to his feet, made a full circle on the cushion, and plopped himself down again with a contented sigh. He never opened his eyes. She tried to rouse him again later in the day, but he reacted the same way. The same thing happened the next day, so she gave up on getting help from the beagle. The idea was so simple she laughed when she thought of it. She opened the door of the cabinet, pleased to see Hector's happy smile. She reached past him and removed all the other teacups and saucers from the top shelf and shut the door on his hopeful face. The smile was gone. Lining up the cups and saucers where Hector could see and hear everything, she began. I don't know if any of you understand what it means to be the favorite teacup. You've probably wondered what was so special about the cat cup after seeing me use only this particular cup for over a year. My friends have often asked me about that, reminding me that I have so many pretty cups. They pointed out that my favorite is actually kind of weird looking, not pretty at all. They told me this so-called favorite looked really out of place on those rare occasions when we all wear our best flowered dresses and serve fancy little sandwiches. She stole a glance at Hector to see if he'd been listening. Oh, he'd been listening all right. He heard everything she said. His whiskers were twitching furiously. She went on. So, I've decided to select a new favorite teacup. The weird-looking cup will be retired. It will stay in the cupboard from now on. And one of you will become the new favorite. I will interview each of you to find out what you'd bring to the table, so to speak. Heh. I can't wait to get started on the interviews. Here's the sign-up sheet. Please pick a time. She expected a mad dash for the sign-up sheet, but instead the teacups huddled together, looking sad and timid. Meanwhile, Hector was seething. He frowned and pulled back his lips to display a row of sharp little teeth. 4 days went by. No one wanted an interview, it seemed. She opened the cabinet to remove the 4 pretty teacups. She noticed that Hector looked a little smug when she glanced at him, but thought nothing of it. I am not angry with you, but I am so disappointed in you, she said to the 4 pretty teacups. I thought I'd provided a way for one of you to get ahead, but not one of you was interested. I would like to know why, because I am not offering this opportunity again. She waited. Finally, Shelley spoke up. Shelley was the teacup she had in mind all along as the new favorite. We like our life the way it is. It's all for one and one for all. We don't want to change it. We sleep in weekdays when you're at work. And before you come home, we watch our favorite TV shows. Hector. Shelley stopped abruptly. And what does Hector do? She prompted. Hector knows how to use the remote. He also knows our favorite shows. She waited a few days before talking with Hector. She took him out of the cabinet and waited for him to speak. He remained silent for a long time. And finally, in a very small voice, he said, I am sorry. What? I am sorry, he repeated softly. I am sorry for teasing you. I promise never to do it again. Really? Yes, really. I want to be your one and only favorite teacup again. how do I know you won't start teasing again? Starting now, I am never going to say another word. He pretended to sew his lips shut. But how do I know you'll keep your promise? The teacup cat pretended to lock his mouth with an invisible key and tossed the key away. Wait, I kind of liked the sound of your voice, even if you were being totally obnoxious. Say something nice. Hector shook his head. Hector! Hector lifted his white-gloved paws in a gesture of innocent helplessness. It was so ridiculous. Somehow he had managed to wrest control from her hands again. You evil cat! Don't forget, you're nothing but a fragile piece of crockery. I could drop you at any time and... Hector wagged his finger knowingly. Visions of likely disasters churned through her mind. Could an act of rage have bad consequences? Could it bring bad karma? She decided that if her friends wished to continue their tea parties in her spacious apartment, they would have to accept Hector, weird looks and all. Hector was now the perfect gentleman at the tea parties. He passed around plates of little sandwiches and lacy cookies. And he kept his promise. He never said another word. Months passed. She found she no longer thought about Hector's necktie when she lay in bed at night, courting sleep. Instead, she'd wonder what he'd meant when he said, "The questions life asks are serious, and they deserve answers." What were the questions? What were the answers? She would never know.
I will follow him across the meadow. I will follow him across the hill.
The end.
And if I can catch him, I will try